the Cleveland Indians.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the January 7th, 2019 Lake County Sentinel Podcast. I'm your host, Tim Shirer, publisher and sports editor of the Lake County Sentinel. We got a lot to talk about tonight. If you ever want to send a question into us, you can reach us via Twitter at LCSentinelCom or Sports Sentinel on Twitter, or on Facebook, Lake County Sentinel, or you could just check out our website, www.lakecountysentinel.com. That's www.lakecountysentinel.com. We're going to talk about the Cavs, the Browns, the Monsters, the Indians, the Icebreakers tonight. We're going to cover them all. And then we're going to have the national championship prediction right before we go off. And that should be interesting. My son will join us. And we will give our picks on the national championship game tonight, Clemson and Alabama. And I have no idea who he's going to pick. So it'll be interesting to see who he picks, and I'll let you know who I'm going to pick. And we'll see who's right. So let's get started, though, with the Cavs. We have the Cavs will be in action tomorrow night at the Q against the Indiana Pacers. Indiana is third in the East. The Cavs are obviously last in the East. They have a worst record in the NBA at 8-32. The Pacers come in 26-13, third in the East. And they are going to want revenge for the Cavs beating them last month at Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis on a last-second shot by Larry Nance. So I'm sure that's fresh in the Pacers' mind, and they're probably going to want revenge tomorrow night at the Q. The Cavs then take off and head to New Orleans for an 8 o'clock game on Wednesday night against the Pelicans, who they lost to over the weekend. The Pelicans are 18-22, and I believe are the 10th position in the West, and they are 13-6 at home. So it could be a long night, but you never know. Upsets are possible. Kevin Love gave an update today on his injury status and when he might be back, and he said he is still weeks away from taking the floor in a game. He's back to basketball activities, which is good, but it's still going to take him a little more time until he can play in a game. We have the Monsters, who will play Wednesday in Belleville against the Belleville Senators. The Monsters are now in fourth place in the North Division of the American League. They are 17-13-4. They have 39 points. Belleville, who will be their opponent on Wednesday, is in last place in the North of the American League, and they are 16-20-2 and have 34 points. So they are not a very good team, but the Monsters haven't been playing great right now either. So when there's only 5 points, the Monsters are only 5 points out of last place, so they better get it together. Of course, I believe they're only like 7 out of first, so it's not a huge gap, but still, they hopefully they'll start playing better, and maybe it'll start on Wednesday night in Belleville. They're playing the Senators, who are obviously the affiliate of the Ottawa Senators. Moving on, the Icebreakers will be in action on Friday at home at the Menor Ice Arena. and they are now 6-17-0, and they lost their last game in overtime, so they got a point for that. They now have 19 points. They're still mired in last place in the Franklin Hockey League. Port Huron, the last place in the Franklin Hockey League, is sixth. Port Huron is in fifth. That's who the opponent will be Friday night at the Menor Ice Arena, and they are in fifth place. They have 29 points. So they have 10 more points than the Icebreakers. And the top four teams make the playoffs. I told you I would confirm that, and I found that out on Saturday, that the top four teams do make the playoffs in the Franklin Hockey League. I don't see the Icebreakers making it at this point, but you never know. You never know. A lot could change in the second half of the season. You know, they've played 23 games so far. Who knows? Maybe they could flip the record the second half. You don't know. They got 1 point in 2 games over the weekend, which is, when you could get 6 and you got 1, that's not real good. But from what I understand, there's been a lot of turnover on their roster. They're an expansion team. These other teams have been established. So it's pretty hard, to win when you're an expansion team, especially in a league like that, where you just had to pick people up. They probably didn't get anybody off anybody other roster. They probably just had to pick players up and sign guys to start the year. And from what I understand, when the season began, they were horrible. And they've added a lot of players, since the beginning of the year. They started out 0-6. So actually they're 6-11 since, which, it's not great, but it's not horrible. It's a true expansion team, and things are rough in that. I just hope they can survive, and this won't be their only year in Menor. It would be really great if they could, make a place for minor league sports in Lake County in the winter. I mean, we have it in the summer with the captains and baseball. It would be great if it could thrive in the winter, hockey. I know a lot of captains fans are hockey fans, so that would be, so there's a base out there. They just have to hopefully be able to survive this first year, which is always tough in sports, especially at that level. So now I'm just going to touch on the Indians. The Indians made a trade yesterday, and they traded 2 minor leaguers, Scott Walker, not the former hateful governor from Wisconsin, but Scott Walker, right-handed pitcher, and infielder Sam Haggerty, to the New York Mets for Kevin Plawecki, a catcher. I assume he will be Roberto Perez's backup, but it sounds like the Indians really like him a lot. He played 79 games last year, and he hit .210. So, he's not an offensive catcher, but from what I understand, he's very good defensively, and that's what the Indians value in a catcher. And that's what a lot of teams value in catchers nowadays. It's not so much the offense a catcher can bring, it's the defense. So that's the trade the Indians made yesterday. They gave up 2 minor leaguers, Walker and Haggerty. And if Haggerty could actually probably be a pretty good player if I'm not saying he doesn't focus on his game, but if he took the game as serious as he does looking in the mirror at himself, he could really be probably a good player. But when he was in Lake County, I don't remember very many nights where he didn't walk in the locker room and he'd be looking at himself in the mirror. So that tells you he'll love New York. I mean, pretty boys love it in New York. So good luck to Haggerty and good luck to Scott Walker in New York. And hopefully Plawecki does what the Indians want. Just a minute or two here on the typical disrespect from Jim Donovan of the other sports teams in Cleveland. Again, tonight he spent his entire sports cast talking about the Browns and football, Didn't give any updates on any other sports. And, you know, I mean, people ask me why I watch. I watch because I like Channel 3 News. I just don't like him. I guess I should shut it off after the weather. It probably would be a good idea. But the thing is, though, his show at 7 o'clock, Donovan Live, is not bad. You should listen to this and not watch that. But, you know, that's a pretty good show, actually. But now, enough on him. It's time to talk a little bit about college football. We're going to make our predictions. My son Tommy's here.
Hello.
And we're going to, you know, I have no idea who he thinks is going to win. I think, unfortunately, you know, it's probably going to be Alabama again. You know, I wish it wasn't. I really don't like either program. I'm not a fan of either coach. But that's who's in the game tonight. You got to pick one. And I just feel like Alabama will win the game, although the freshman quarterback for Clemson is really, really good. He's better than Tua Tagovailoa or whatever the heck his name is. Trevor Lawrence is really good. And I don't know, are NFL players allowed to come out after their freshman year?
I don't think so. I think it's 2.
All right. Because I think as soon as he's eligible to come out, he's going to come out. He's good. You think he'll be a high draft pick?
He'll be a number 1 pick when he comes out.
Okay. He's good. I also like
he could have been a first-round pick coming out of high school.
I also like that Jake Fromm in Georgia too. I think he's really good too. He really reminds me a lot of Matt Stafford when he was at Georgia. Yeah, he's good. And but what do you think? So I think Alabama's going to win. I think it'll be close early. Clemson might be winning early, and Alabama somehow something will happen and they'll win the game. It'll be close, but I think Alabama will win. What do you think?
I think Clemson's going to win.
Do you?
Yeah, I think he could play better than their defense can play.
I hope, because I just think they're overrated. It would have been nice to see somebody upset them. Geez, what does he weigh? God, he looks like he weighs like 150 pounds.
He's also 6'8".
Well, I know he is, but geez, he's so skinny.
He weighs like 240.
How does he not get broke? You know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's him showing some video of him in high school. He was even skinnier then. So you think Clemson will win?
Yeah.
Okay. I think Alabama. Hopefully you're right and I'm wrong. And I wonder when Nick Saban will retire.
I don't know.
Like soon,
he's
maybe?
216 pounds. He's 6'5", 216.
Like I wish he'd retire soon, Nick Saban. You know, because I'm really sick of like Alabama.
Yeah.
You know, and all right. Well, that's it for the college talk for the night. Greg Schiano left Ohio State today and announced he was pursuing NFL jobs. Good luck with that, Greg. You stunk in Tampa, and you probably stink again if you get another job because you're not good. You proved that at Ohio State. So that's it for sports. When we come back, we'll do our political talk, and for the next 15 minutes, and let's see what happens. We'll be right back. Hello, and welcome back to the second half of the Lake County Sentinel Podcast for January 7th, 2019, I'm a year behind, 2019. And this is the news and political part of the broadcast. And if you have a question for us, you can check us out you can send us a message on Twitter at LCSentinel.com or a sports question at Sports Sentinel on Twitter, or you can check us out on Facebook, or you can check out our website at www.lakecountysentinel.com. That's www.lakecountysentinel.com. Well, in the news and politics tonight, we have the same old stuff coming from the Trump White House. Lies and untruths, and their base takes it and loves it and believes every word of it, even though it's proven false by statistics. This time, Fox News, Trump's favorite news network, that he thinks is the only one that tells the truth, got him this time. Sarah Huckabee Sanders was on the show on Fox yesterday morning, and Chris Wallace totally debunked her facts about 4,000 people coming through the border, through the southern border with Mexico. Terror suspects. He totally debunked that. Told her that he did his own research, and that is untrue. That they come by land, by sea, and by air. And she really couldn't fight it. She couldn't argue it. He got her. And she looked really foolish. My question is now, the one thing a White House spokesperson has to have is integrity. Okay, and tell the truth. And integrity is a huge part of that job. She lost every bit of it yesterday. She has none. The reason she has none is because she lies. She lies all the time. She's caught in lies all the time. And, I don't know how his supporters can sit there and continually ignore the lies. Do they really believe these things aren't lies? I mean, do they really think that when things are fact-checked, people are lying about the facts just to make Trump look bad? Hey, you know what would make you look better? Not telling lies all the time. Not giving false stats. Like the Bowling Green massacre that never happened. That was Kellyanne Conway. And then we got this by Sarah Sanders, blatantly lying on Fox on Sunday morning. Remember how angry Trump and his supporters were when Obama's press secretary lied on a Sunday morning show and she didn't tell the truth? Remember that? How angry they were. Oh, they were so angry. And let's have an investigation because they lied on a Sunday morning show. But now when Sarah Huckabee Sanders lies on a Sunday morning show, oh, the left is twisting the facts. I saw this guy this hateful Italian Trump supporting snowflake conservative. I saw a bunch of comments from this guy on Facebook this weekend. And, he's just the same old things, calling us crazy, liberals crazy, calling us snowflakes. It's the same old thing. He really couldn't respond when we hit him with facts. So he had to start calling us names. This Italian big shot guy who is just, his comments are hateful. He's a racist. You can tell he's a racist by his comments. I asked him why don't they want a Canadian wall? And you know what his response was? I can't wait to see all you liberals crying when Trump gets reelected in 2020. He couldn't respond to why don't they want a wall at Canada, at the Canadian border. Of course he couldn't respond because he didn't know why. He couldn't give an answer that would sound correct, because if he knew he gave the real answer why they don't want a wall at the Canadian border, his racist nature would come out. So that's why he just had to resort to I can't wait to see you cry when Trump gets reelected. They go silent. They don't know what to say when you hit them with facts. And that happened to Sarah Sanders yesterday on Fox News. And I got to give Chris Wallace a lot of credit because he called her out. He does it. Chris Wallace doesn't pull punches. I'm surprised he hasn't been fired by Fox yet. I really am. I'm really surprised he hasn't been fired for calling Trump and his administration out on stuff. I would have to think Sean Hannity hates him. I would have to think that, but it was really nice to see. And then, so she lies yesterday, she's a White House spokesman. So are we supposed to believe the bull crap coming from the White House this afternoon that says, even though the government is shut down, tax refunds will not be delayed? Okay, they say tax refunds will not be delayed. Blatant lie. I mean, if I'm wrong, so be it. But this, I can tell you right now, folks, is a blatant lie. If the government is still shut down, tax refunds are probably going to be delayed also, because that'll screw over the regular guy, and Trump doesn't care about the regular guy. So don't tell me tax refunds aren't going to be delayed, because I'll bet you they will be. How are we supposed to believe this? How are we supposed to believe that tax refunds won't be delayed when he had his spokesperson, main one, White House spokesperson, Sarah Sanders, lying blatantly on a Sunday talk show? We're supposed to believe her today about something that's here. The only reason they're saying that today is because he's going to come on the TV tomorrow and he's going to say the shutdown's going to continue, but you'll still get your tax refunds. He's going to come on the TV tomorrow and blatantly lie to you. So don't believe the lie today. And don't believe it tomorrow when he says it. He's going to come on tomorrow and lie through his teeth. Because that's what they do in this White House. They lie. Remember, Clinton was evil when he lied. But now the same people that said Clinton was evil when he lied support the liar that lies every day. So don't believe that your tax refund isn't going to be delayed if the government remains shut down, because I'm telling you, it's going to be delayed. There's no way it's not going to be delayed. When people are furloughed and the IRS isn't running at full capacity at their busiest time of the year, there's not going to be a delay. That's a blatant lie. If you believe that, you deserve the crap that Trump gives you. It's a blatant lie. I'm telling you, it's a blatant lie. Hopefully we don't find out. But I think it's a blatant lie. Now, let's move on to the stock market. The stock market went up today. Went up 98.19 points, which is good. Anytime the stock market goes up, it's good. Anytime it goes up, it's good. Anybody that roots against the economy is a jerk. But also, let's be realists about this. Trump and his people, and this has been a Republican thing for decades, my whole life. I can't remember another that it's been different in my whole life. And I remember, first I remember about politics or news was, I remember watching Nixon fly away in the helicopter after he resigned. So that's how far back I go. I never remember any other narrative but Republicans are good for the economy, which we've debunked on this podcast many times. We know it's not true. So the stock market went up 98.19 points today, which is good. It rose the last 3 days, I think, which is good. So, but I would still like to remind you that up until this point of Barack Obama's administration, the stock market went up 3,822.84 points. So far in Trump's administration, the stock market has gone up 3,619.35 points. So at this point in their administrations, Barack Obama was more effective than Donald Trump. And the percentages are way different than what it went up over 50%, almost 50% under Obama. And under Trump, percentage-wise, it's only gone up about 14%. Okay, so there's a difference there. Percentage isn't even close. All right, it's not even close. The unemployment numbers came out the other day, which is good, for December. But let's check January when that happens. Let's check January. They always go up in December because of retail workers being hired for the holidays. So let's see what happens in January. If they continue to rise, that's really good. But they won't. They will drop in January, and they'll probably even drop in February. You watch, they will. And this booming economy he talks about it's not booming so much after all. And one last thing, let's talk about, I saw a thing today that a woman had been released from prison. She killed a guy that kidnapped her and used her for human trafficking, and she killed him. She murdered him. She shot him in self-defense. 15 years ago, she was sentenced to life in prison. Well, today her sentence was commuted and she's going to get out in August. And they had to say on the news that A-listers like Kim Kardashian went to bat for her. You know what? Like my son said to me when we were watching that, why he hates that when they say A-listers. And I do too. Like he said, she's no better than we are. And I said to him, what has she really done in her life but spend her dad's money? That A-lister stuff and Hollywood celebrity stuff just really bothers me. We're going to get into that more. I think tomorrow we'll get into that deeper. But our time is up for tonight. We're going to eat and then watch the national championship game. We'll talk about that maybe tomorrow a little bit. I hope everybody has a good night. And stay safe. We'll see you tomorrow night.